Hello, friends. That'll be hard to top. Great job, Henry, wherever you are. Nice. So, first of all, very good question. Nice work, BlueYard. It certainly made me ponder as well, so I connect with Henry's story. And it really took me back to a lot of the user research and the work that we've been doing at Aragon. I think if I can start with anything, the one word that was repeated through almost every interview out there that we did was complexity, right? The ecosystem is still too complex for my mom and my grandma to join and play and take advantage of this changing technology. And so until we scale back and look into the simplicity and the rebuilding from the foundations up, it'll really be hard to gain that wider adoption that we need in order to scale our projects. Now, on a second note, very connected as well to Henry's talk, is user experience. This really cannot be understated, right? I think especially as we look at tools like account abstraction, which can hopefully really help us overcome that next barrier, Web3 is really a paradigm shift, right? And if that's true, making user experiences that feel as intuitive as the technologies that have been brewing user behavior up until now is clearly a challenge. And so unless we really focus on that app layer and ensure that the stack that we're building is human-centric, Web3 is not going to work. So certainly focusing on user experiences is key. Now, on a third note, and this speaks a bit to my heart, is diversity, right? And from a personal take, I think ETH Denver this year is a lot more diverse than it was last year, but there's still certainly a long way to go. Diversity doesn't only come in terms of gender, it comes in terms of nationality, it comes in terms of age, and it comes in terms of languages. And knowledge sets and skill sets. For me, I'm a software engineer, so I mean, to the extent I'm used to working with guys all the time, but there's a lot of work we can do within our structures to bring more people from across the board into our projects. For example, within DAOs, it's quite often you have community members that are working for X amount of time in X amount of projects, and oftentimes that lack of financial security, of financial stability, doesn't enable a lot of groups to come in and participate. Additionally, when we look at the stack of projects, oftentimes engineers need to know Solidity. I think if you look at numbers today, there's only 20,000 Solidity engineers in the world. There's around 300,000 JavaScript engineers. And so just opening the gap to different types of knowledge sets and backgrounds to come in is certainly critical to expand. Then, and that really connects and brings me back to the foundations, right? At the end of the day, if we've been working in crypto, we understand kind of the underlying change that it can do, but there's just so much noise, right? We get confused with the liquidity pool that can exchange with all my NFTs assets, and ultimately, that's cool for the OGs, but my mom doesn't care, right? And so if we go back into the foundations of the value that crypto really can provide, we can then build from that point upwards. Which brings me honestly into my last point, that's experimentation. Oftentimes we'll hear people like, I've been in crypto since whatever, which is amazing, but no one is an expert, right? This is just a beginning. And so rather than embedding a whole bunch of functionality into immutable smart contracts, I feel like we need to embed adaptability and understand that we are all trying this stuff out. And unless we allow ourselves to adapt as people evolve and as the ecosystem evolves and as our context is overly changing, humans will not be able to adapt to the exponential growth and acceleration of technological innovation that's happening. So I'll leave you with that. Those are my 5 things on my mind, and happy to hear any comments, ideas, questions.